Imagine being in a classroom where the biggest bully in school decides to lay hands on a teacher, grabbing her by the throat in front of everyone. What he didn't know was that this quiet, underestimated woman had a past that would humble him and destroy the power he thought he had. Before we continue, welcome to Voices Unchained. Please like this video, subscribe, and comment your location. We'd love to see how far these stories travel. Jasmine Davis was a 30-year-old chemistry teacher at one of the city's most prestigious schools. Calm, gentle, and soft-spoken, she carried herself with quiet grace. Some admired her demeanor, others dismissed it as weakness. What no one knew was that Jasmine wasn't just an ordinary teacher. She had served 10 years in the U.S. military, a decade that had carved discipline and strength into her soul before a terrible injury forced her into retirement. At the same school roamed Sam Walters, the notorious bully whose name sent dread down the hallways. Backed by his gang of goons, he cheated on tests, mocked teachers, and tormented classmates. But Sam's arrogance came from more than just his size. His father was one of the wealthiest, most influential men in the city, practically owning half of it. Teachers avoided confrontation, terrified of what it might mean to cross Sam or his father. Students feared him. He was untouchable. Everyone, except Jasmine. Whenever he mocked her lessons, she never stumbled. When he laughed in her face, she never flinched. Instead, she looked at him with steady, piercing eyes that made him feel small, and Sam hated that feeling. One afternoon in chemistry lab, Sam couldn't resist. Leaning back in his chair, he smirked loudly enough for the whole class to hear. "Hey, Miss Davis, are you even a real teacher? Or are you just pretending so you can cover rent?" Students chuckled nervously. Jasmine ignored him, continuing with her lesson. That silence only fueled him. He turned on Smith, a quiet black student sitting at the front, yanking his belongings from his desk and tossing them onto the floor. "Pick it up," he ordered, sneering. "Sam," Jasmine's voice cut through the air, calm but firm. "Stop," he turned, smirking. "Or what? What are you going to do? You know my dad practically owns this school, right? That means you work for me. He pays your salary. Technically, I'm your boss." The class went silent. Jasmine didn't flinch. "You may think your father runs this school," she said, her tone like steel, "but in this classroom, science and discipline rule. Right now, you're acting like a child, and considering you've already failed this class twice, maybe it's time you act your age." The students burst into laughter. Sam's face turned red. That uneasy feeling Jasmine always gave him returned, and in his fury, he snapped. He stormed to the front, grabbed her by the throat, and slammed her against the wall. "What now, huh? What are you going to do now?" His grip tightened. The class froze, too stunned to move. In that moment, Jasmine's instincts took over. With a swift, practiced motion, she twisted his arm, flipped him to the floor, and pinned him face down. His arm was locked painfully behind his back. The room gasped. The untouchable Sam Walters was on the ground, humiliated. "Apologize," Jasmine commanded, her voice steady. Sam groaned, struggling. "What? No." Her grip tightened until he winced in pain. "Apologize to me and to Smith." Pride burned in his face, but pain forced the truth out. I'm sorry," he croaked. Jasmine released him, smoothed her sleeve, and looked out at the stunned class. Class dismissed. Students shuffled out, whispering in disbelief. Some glanced back as if to confirm what they'd seen was real. Smith lingered, then walked up to Jasmine. "Thank you," he said softly, "for standing up for me." Jasmine gave him a small, steady smile. "It's my job. And don't forget, you're stronger than you think." Smith nodded, his eyes shining with new confidence, before heading out. Quick pause. If you were in that classroom, what would you have done? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. By the next day, the story had spread like wildfire. The legendary bully had been humbled in front of everyone. His goons drifted away, no longer impressed. Classmates whispered and laughed at him instead of cowering. Even teachers, once fearful of others' power, stopped giving him special treatment. For the first time, Sam wasn't feared. He was pitied. Meanwhile, Jasmine carried on as if nothing had happened. The very next morning, she stood at the front of her class, calmly explaining chemical reactions. But her students saw her differently now. They saw the quiet warrior behind the gentle teacher, the woman who had reminded them that strength doesn't always shout, it can whisper. Sam never forgot that day. Not because of physical pain, but because of the scar it left on his pride. The lesson was undeniable. Arrogance, cruelty, and false power always crumble before true strength, discipline, and humility. And that's how a calm chemistry teacher with a hidden military past humbled the most feared bully in school. What do you think? Did Sam really change after that? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story struck a chord with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know where you're watching from. We love to see how far these stories travel.